Hello everybody, Kevin Price here with 912 Sports. Just last week, Glen Academy head baseball coach Trent Mongero surprised a lot of us here in Southeast Georgia when he announced his decision to retire from teaching and coaching here at Glen Academy. Coach Mongero cited several reasons for his decision to retire. First and foremost was a health concern dealing with a heart issue that he has dealt with for more than a year now. Also, he cited his wishes to spend more time with his family going forward. But of course, we cover Glen Academy here on 912 Sports, and we also follow Red Terror Baseball here as part of our Golden Isles baseball package on 912 Sports. We broadcast Glen Academy games this spring, followed the Red Terrors all the way through the Class 6A state baseball tournament, following them all the way to the Elite Eight this spring. So for that reason, we wanted to talk to Coach Mongero just a little bit more about his decision to step down here with the Red Terrors. All right, Coach, thanks for being with us. You mentioned having this retirement on your mind all season, but really kind of in the background, not making this decision until after the season. So really, when did you make this decision? I know there were several factors going into it, which we'll talk about, but really, when did you actually make this decision?
Literally not up till 4 or 5 days before I announced it. I just wasn't sure. I was prayerfully considering. I spoke to the few mentors that I have that are former coaches, and it just seemed like in my heart that it's what I needed to do. So I pulled the trigger as quickly as possible, because I really didn't want the program to get stuck. I know the hiring process in the summertime can be difficult, but it is a good time for transitions to take place, families to move and such. So if I would have waited too long, it could have really hamstrung the hiring process. And I didn't want in any way, shape, or form to be a hindrance in the next hire, because as I've said, I feel like we got things going, and whoever they hire, whether it's within and there's good options there, or if they choose to go without, they need to have that person in place as soon as possible.
And Coach, I know you mentioned in your letter to the Glen County Schools and Glen Academy administration several reasons for your retirement, for your decision. We'll talk kind of about each of those, I guess. First and foremost was your health. You had a heart issue that you've certainly been dealing with for a little over a year now for sure. I know it's a medical issue, a personal issue. You may not want to get too deep into that anyway. But if you don't mind, keep it simple, but kind of talk about that and what all that involves and why you do need to certainly address that and take care of that.
Yeah, well, my heart issue is not what might be a typical heart issue, for lack of a better phrase. Mine is not blockage. So mine is a valve issue. My mitral valve, I have significant regurgitation in the mitral valve, which means your heart's supposed to pump in one direction. The blood flows in your body in one direction. My heart pumps from that valve into the next chamber, and a significant amount of blood comes back into that chamber. So it's going backwards, and that's a big problem, especially when it's everybody's heard of a heart murmur probably. That's a very, very little leak, insignificant. Mine is significant to the point where they have to either do a repair or replace. And if I can stay in shape and reduce stress and keep, everything moving along, they feel like I'll be able to have a replacement, which is much better because you can keep your own valve and you don't have to go on blood thinners and different medicines. If you have a replacement pig's valve or, titanium valve, then now you're got to be on, medication for the rest of your life, and it can limit your opportunity to do certain things for risk of bleeding out. So, so it's a valve issue. And, I was 2 days from open heart surgery last spring, right before COVID, when they changed their mind to do one more test. And after that test is when they said, let's push it a little bit. And of course, technology is ever changing. So I'm hoping that, they get better and better. In fact, they can almost go through your ribs most of the time now to get into your heart and not have to cut you down the middle. Like my dad, this is genetic, by the way, Kevin. My dad had the same surgery, open heart, split down the middle. He had it for both reasons, for blockage and for valve, but I inherited his valve. So that's the heart issue side of things. And what would be really, really horrible, not only, my personal issues that I have to deal with, but let's say we get into the middle of next season and I start to have really bad symptoms and they got to perform open heart surgery and I'm out for, weeks and weeks, months, and then there's nobody, head coach to coach. I mean, it's just something that I need to take care of. And certainly everybody knows, as you approach your mid-50s, and I've put in 30 years of coaching, that was one big factor going into this.
And Coach, also family reasons, a couple of unique things going on there. You have a son playing college baseball where you played college baseball at UNC Wilmington. Also, you have a daughter in college, and I just recently found out she's facing a unique situation, I guess this time about a year from now when she graduates. That's going to take her a long way from Georgia for sure. And then obviously your wife's still going to teach here at Glenn Academy, but you'll have the opportunity certainly to spend more time with her outside of not coaching anymore, which certainly is a big time demand. So I know you're a family man. I know you love baseball, but health and family together certainly trump your love for baseball as much as you love baseball.
Well, the way I see it is, I've given my life, for lack of a better phrase, to helping other families and helping other children. And now it's time to make sure that my home team is taken care of. My daughter in particular, it starts to choke me up. I apologize. She's really taken a back seat. And, my son's been an athlete his whole life. So we've had that connection. We've been on the field. Of course, I coached him in high school on the baseball field. But my daughter is very independent, very smart. She's a go-getter, and she was supposed to study in Oxford last summer when COVID shut that all down. And she's been to South Korea twice on her own, where she won scholarships and was selected. Now she's going back this summer to South Korea. She leaves on the 9th. And then next year, she wants to, once she graduates from the University of Georgia, she wants to move to Japan to teach English in Japan. That's a passion that she's had. So she's been to Japan as well in the past. So she travels, and that's what she wants to do. And so my window is really small right now to try to invest into her life. You can't make up for lost time, and I've certainly not neglected her in the real sense of the word. But I feel like I got to take this opportunity to step outside of what I'm comfortable with, to spend more time with my daughter, especially when she gets back at the end of the summer when we would be going back to school.
And Coach, obviously you've had a great career in coaching. Obviously won a state championship at North Hall before you came here. They won another one, so your imprint was still on that program. A good career even before you got to North Hall. So you've had a great career in coaching. I'm sure that made it maybe easier to make this decision. Obviously, you're leaving the Glenn program in great shape, so I know you kind of walk away here with a good peace of mind. Did all that kind of make it easier? Also, you're not really totally stepping away from the game. You're still going to do clinics and camps, and matter of fact, you're doing one this week. So I guess you're still going to be around the game, so I guess that makes it a little easier, just not going to take any more wins and losses, I guess.
Well, the great thing about the developmental side of the game, which is my greatest passion at this point in my life, is I can dictate when I do that and how much I do that. When you're coaching at the high school level, when you're trying to build a program that can win state championships and build men, it takes all the time that you have. So, trying to balance the two of those on top of my health issues and family issues is like impossible. But it does give me a little bit of an opportunity to continue on with another part of passion in the game and try to influence lives in a different way. And that's what I'm going to do, So that's definitely something that I manage, and I can say no. When you're coaching in high school, you don't get to say no. You got to be with those guys every day, and that's what you should be doing. So as far as the past, Laney was my first high school. Most people know that from where Michael Jordan went to high school, because it is where he went to high school. And, we built that program from the cellar team in the county to a state reputable Everybody knew Laney, and they were going to face the real deal. And then I went to Richmond County. I took a little different approach there. Went to the third biggest school in the state. Laney was the eighth biggest. Richmond was third at the time, but they had won state titles in the past. So I was there 3 years, and I was planning on staying there, and North Hall came calling, and I never heard of Gainesville, Georgia before. I said Gainesville, Florida. They said no, Gainesville, Georgia. So we went on a visit, ended up there, and same thing. That program was never been past the second round of the state playoffs in their history. It's an old school. I want to say now, since I've been there and everything, it's approaching 80 years old. Not as old as Glenn Academy, but that was the first state title that we won there. We played for it in 13, won it in 17. They just won it in 21. They had never been past the second round when I got there. So we built that program, and most people that know baseball in the state know North Hall now. So not because of me, but because of the community, the support, my assistants. It was a team effort. But Glenn Academy was a big challenge for me. Never intended to leave North Hall after winning a state title, but the Lord had other plans. So here I am, and I was planning on being here way more than 4 years. So, that just goes to show you really don't know. But I sunk my life in. I was able to put together a big staff, not a big staff, but it's fairly big, but quality staff is what I'm really getting at. And, I was able to be a quote-unquote head coach, more like a college head coach here, in the sense that I stayed in the dugout this year. I had a former college coach that coached third base for me, and I trusted him, and he got to learn and grow up. He's a young guy. Same thing, first base. So Sandlin was at third, Welborn was at first. I had Teddy Wallen, who's coached in college, and a guy that's grown up in this area, went to Brunswick. So I had a tremendous staff, and I let those guys do their jobs, and I truly managed. And then that, with my health issue and everything going on, it was like a beautiful, mix. So it worked out really well. So it's not so much that the success of the past, because success is relative to me. I mean, we've had mostly good years. You had a few years, when you're not recruiting players, things kind of go and ebb and flow, but you want to take that ebb and flow and raise that ebb and flow, so that, even on your down years, you're doing well better than you would if you didn't coach these guys up and build a program, a culture. So, I do feel good about walking away right now. I do feel like the ship is righted, for lack of a better phrase. So words are hard to find these days a lot of times for the emotion that you're feeling. But so I feel like if they make a good hire, Glenn Academy's got a really good chance to keep moving in the right direction.
Hey, Coach, I don't know if you know or if you even want to answer this, but are you going to have any influence on that decision, or do you plan to stay out of it?
I told him that's up to the administration here at Glenn Academy and Glenn County Schools. If they want my input, I'll give them as much as they would, as they want. If they don't, I'm staying out of it. I'm not looking to influence in any way, shape, or form. So I'm here if they want me. Same thing with the new coach. If they hire from within, there's a lot of administrative things that go on that I don't include my staff on, because they don't need to be burdened with that kind of stuff. Where now a new head coach might, well, hey, how do you do baseball at the beach? How do you do this? The fundraising, the booster clubs, all the bus scheduling, and everything. So I'll be there for that person as well. Or if they don't want my help, I'll just stay away. But we are gonna be here. We love the Golden Isles, and I know you didn't ask this, but I want to say it. The support has been tremendous. Year 2 here was a very tough year for me. We graduated that whole class from my first year, and there was a good bit of talent there, a couple of Division I players, and we really, the building started, and it parallels my North Hall build pretty seriously, because we had basically the same thing. We lost in the first round my first year. We had 2 Division I players. And then the second year, we had a rough year, and then everything just started going up from there. I don't know why. It's worked out the same here. There's a lot of parallels that I can go on and on. It's pretty surreal, actually, to North Hall to hear. That's why I feel like the process, the build, we call it the script. That's kind of I don't know how well that would be received, but there's literally a process to a build. and then you have to have the pieces, and you got to have the personality to hold people accountable to the build. And then, everything just starts to, it starts to work like you saw, and I'm still really, really disappointed that we didn't get the 20 season in with the COVID. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? We can dream about what it would have been. We had a lot of talent. We had guys that had bought in, and we had pitching. And we were dangerous, and we knew it deep down inside that we were dangerous, and we were proving it against very good competition early on. So there's no telling what that team would have done. But this team, of course, had a great finish, 31, best year in 31 years, I guess. And for most schools, that's almost like a lifetime. But for Glenn Academy, we've been around forever. But, Chuck Fair was at our banquet last night, and, Hall of Fame coach, got a chance to see him, and, it just kind of tied it all together. So that's a very long answer. I apologize for the length, but that kind of sums it up.
And Coach, we certainly appreciate it. Obviously, we're glad you're going to hang around in this area. Hopefully, those of us here at 912 can maybe use your expertise as well going forward, and we'll certainly hope to see you at some ball games going forward as well. But we obviously appreciate your cooperation in the time that you were here, and best of luck to you and your family, and certainly with your health. And we look forward to seeing you around the Wayno here in the near future as well.
That'd be, now that you mention it, it'd be kind of fun to be in the booth and actually kind of be do a little bit of that on occasion, maybe color analyst or whatever they call it. But I know I've talked to Wayno, and he says he enjoys doing that. So not putting myself in the same category as the Wayno, but anyways, thank you, Kevin, 912 Sports. It's like the places I've been, it takes 3 or 4 years to form relationships, and same thing with ours, even mine and yours. I mean, the more you're around people and you really get to see them work, the more you respect them. And I respect what you guys do. You do a great job, and the community is very fortunate to have what you guys do. And so anybody out there, I would highly encourage you to support them financially through advertising and other means, so that they can truly get these young men exposure, and how beautiful is it to be able to be anywhere, if you can't be at the ballpark or the football field or the soccer field or the basketball arena, and still be able to take in the game and hear your son, grandson, nephew, friend perform, and be able to follow your team, whether you like Brunswick or Glenn Academy. You guys do a great job. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Coach. Okay, so there you have it. The full interview with Coach Mongero can be seen on our website and also social media pages. Coach Mongero retires with 490 career wins. Obviously, if that 2020 season does not get shut down by COVID, he easily makes it to the 500 win mark. The coach tells us he's willing to live with that fact. So now Glenn Academy in the market for a new head baseball coach. We understand the job is now posted on the Glenn County Schools site. Interviews are expected to begin soon, and a new head coach expected to be named sometime this month. When that happens, we'll have that announcement and the name right here on 912 Sports. For 912 Sports, I'm Kevin Price reporting from Adam Wainwright Field here in Brunswick, Georgia, also known as the house that Wainwright built.